Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much. I'm so very glad that you're here. Today we're going to do a festive reverse color along, and we're going to color this page from Johanna's Christmas book. So meet me on the other side and we'll get started. Here we go. What I have today for you is a sort of reverse color along. So normally on my reverse color alongs, I color on the facing page, but this doesn't really have a facing page in this book. This is Johanna's Christmas by Johanna Basford, and this is page 57. So what I thought I'd do for this is, instead of starting out with a completed page, we're gonna finish the page together. So I've got most of it colored, and I'll show you how to color the petals and all these different elements, so you'll know how to color this page exactly like this. Then we'll finish up with the distress ink background. I do have a cheat sheet prepared for you guys. So this will be, like all the others, a completely free download on my Ko-fi account. And I think with that, we will go ahead and get started. I'm trying to think if I had any final thoughts. I do feel like with this page, I wish that I had gone with a more muted red than something so bright, because with this red, I really backed myself into a corner on the color of the background that I could use. So I went through a lot of different options in my head, and the first option I wanted to do was just to keep it simple and maybe just color it all in black. But then with the black background, I was afraid I would lose these darker elements out here. And then I thought about green, even something purpley. So then I just landed on something neutral, which is why I've got these distress ink colors here, which we've used before, I think on the Maria Trolley reverse color along. So in retrospect, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I think I would have muted this down a little bit, maybe pulled more Tuscan red up. So, all right, enough of that. So with that said, let's get started with combo one, which is going to be the red on the poinsettia petals. I'll be right back. Okay, the first combo for the poinsettia petals is a 4 pencil combo. We're going to use Scarlet Lake, Crimson Red, Crimson Lake, and Tuscan Red. I've already zoomed in for you. What I'm going to do is color this petal. I should have already had that one colored. So we'll just color this full petal together here. And I'll start out with the Scarlet Lake. And you know, those of you that have been watching my channel for a while know I like to go light down to dark. So the 4 pencils will just kind of go down this way on this petal here. So we're going to start out with just sort of a light layer. And then I've got the Crimson Red. I'm overlapping just a little bit. Then Crimson Lake. All right, here we go. And then the Tuscan Red. Oops. Tuscan Red has, I think I've shared with y'all, it has become my favorite red in the Prismacolor family. I don't know, I just really love it. It's just really, it's a not quite burgundy, but it's so pretty. I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to bring the Tuscan Red up along, especially along the side of this petal, to kind of imply a cast shadow there. So now I will go back over with the Crimson Lake, and I'm going to start out by covering the the Tuscan Red with the Crimson Lake, and then start bringing the colors up. Now this paper, I wrestled with it, because there's absolutely no tooth on it whatsoever. And so I really had to do quite a few layers to get the white spaces out of here. And the way I could tell is, like, if I shift the paper around and lift it up in the light, I could see places that I'd missed. So I can't tell as I'm recording if I'm missing places or not pushing down hard enough. But anyway, so I'm just going to do this kind of quick, but you might need to, depending on how you color and depending maybe also on when you purchase this book, your paper, I know in the UK, the paper is different from the US. Y'all have the the nice original Johanna paper, but her supplier ran out of that paper in the US, so she switched over to a whiter paper. I think this is still the original paper, but it's the paper that Kirby Rosanes uses in his books. It's a little whiter. I think the quality is still good. Anyway, so there you go. So now I'm just going to kind of take the second color, Crimson Red. I'm just going to sort of go over all of this because I can see some little white specks in there. But, you know, in the interest of time on this video, I'm not going to be perfect with it. Okay, so there's that. So there's that red petal. And next I'll get the colors and we'll do the center here. I'll be right back. So I'm going to call an audible here. And I say that phrase a lot. And for those of you that aren't in the US, it's a term that comes from our American football sport. And it basically means I'm changing a play. I'm calling a different play at the last minute. I'm switching it up. So I'm calling an audible. So off camera, I went ahead and colored this petal here. And then I realized I didn't share with you guys how I'm doing this shading for the petals that are behind the top layer petals. So I'm taking my black and I'm just kind of coming over the illustration lines. And I'm just gingerly putting a little bit of the black along the, so making that Tuscan red a little darker since it's sitting underneath these leaves here. Now you can see there's a piece of petals. There's a petal bottom sitting here. So I'm going to take the Tuscan red. Oops, that's not Tuscan red. There we go. Color that guy in. And then I'll also take the black here. Make that a little darker. And then along the line where you have petals overlapping, I might just very gingerly shade with the black. And then I always like to take a lighter color and go back over where I've shaded with the black, just to kind of blend it a little bit better. So it's not like, oh, black stripe on your page. Yeah, and I can see where I've missed white spots over here, whatever. Okay, so there's that. So next, oh, one other thing. Yeah, okay. Next we'll do the center part. Be right back. Combo number 2, we're jumping to the yellow leaves. And this is the same combo that I used for the center of the poinsettia flowers as well. So it's another 4-color combo. Most of these are, I'm sorry guys, jasmine, yellow ochre, light umber, and dark umber. All right, so with that, let's see. So what we're gonna do is take the jasmine and color these little bits around the outside. And what I don't like about that is sometimes in some of these books, I think I've shared before, when you color over the line, it might pick up some residual ink and smear it. Now I'm taking the yellow ochre over that a little bit, just to sort of darken it up. Then I'm going to take yellow ochre over the entire center here. Then I will take light umber. I'm going to make like a U shape. And then the dark umber, I'm going to outline here. Yeah, make like a C at that point. Maybe a C is a better thing. And then coming back in with the light umber along that C, and then back to this is yellow ochre, and blend all of that together. So that's real easy, right? And then I think I want to darken up these a little better. So maybe looking at my other ones, I didn't even do the jasmine. Maybe I just did the yellow ochre on this, on the outside. All right, now there's one thing here. I'm just assuming that's the green leaves sitting behind here. So I've used the Prussian green, which I haven't introduced to you yet, but everybody meet Prussian green. We're going to use it a little bit. And I just, with a single color, I'm not blending multiple colors together. Oops. And I probably need a sharper point on that pencil. Yeah, so just coloring these little bits in here. And that, my friends, will finish off your poinsettia. So, all right, with that said, since I already have the yellow pencils in my hand, let's move over to these yellow leaves. Let's do this here. So this again, it's the 4-color combo, and you can see, I'm sorry this is upside down, we're going light to dark in all of these little sections here. Okay, so we're going to start out with the jasmine. And then the yellow ochre, light umber. And I'm going to kind of come along the curve here of the leaf, and then the dark umber here, and maybe come up the sides. You know, I like to do that when I'm coloring these. I keep saying, yeah, I guess this is a leaf. This isn't a petal. Yeah, so there you go. So the light umber, and now the yellow ochre, I'm going to blend over those 2 browns I just used. Okay. And then the jasmine up at the very top again. All right, so now I'm going to repeat this, and I will put this on speed color for you guys. Okay, now that that part is done, I'm going to take the light umber, which is what I've been using as the outline of those leaves and on the stems here. So we're just going to pull that through here, color in that outline there. So now I will also put this on speed color for you. All right, so there you go. There is a completed leaf. So you can see how all these viney leaves are done. Excuse me. So now I have these little leaves, and you can see it's the same combo. And you could even skip the jasmine since these are so tiny and just start out with the yellow ochre. And then we can add the light umber. And then at the bottom, the dark umber. You know the drill. And go back up the other way. And then take that yellow ochre over the entire leaf to blend it all together. Easy, right? Okay, so now at the bottom of the page, we have this leaf that doesn't have the little divided sections. So again, I'm going to go light to dark. So at this point, I will speed color this leaf for you, but it's the same color combo. Okay, there you have it. So now all of the yellow leaves are colored. So next we will color this little feathery guy here. I'll be right back. Now we're moving on to color combo 3 for what I call the purple feather. So it's rosy beige, clay rose, and black cherry. So I'm giving y'all a break with only 3 colors this time. This is a combo that I liked better on my little combo swatch page than I actually did in here. But once I colored it, I figured out I've already committed to it, so I'm going to keep going with it. But we're going to start out with the rosy beige. And again, we're just going to go light to dark as we move in towards that center stem. So we'll just throw this on the outside out here. You can see there's a gap there. Those can be tricky to find sometimes too, like a gap there at the top. Okay, next comes the clay rose. And by the way, I think in another video, I talked about how Prismacolors, they've got a marker set that has a lot of the same colors from the pencil set in their alcohol marker set. And the Clay Rose alcohol marker is so pretty. I really like it. It's one that I used quite a bit, actually. All right, now the final color here is by Cherry. So we're going to use that in the middle. Oops. Okay, here we go. As my friend Faye likes to say, whoopsie. So there, all right, just bringing that in here in the center, just pulling that up. Maybe I'm going to pull that up a little bit further or farther. How about I'm going to pull it up a little bit more. I used to be so good when I was in high school, which I think in the UK you guys call upper school. And I used to get great grammar and English grades, and now all of that 40 years later is just completely gone out the window. Not proud of it, but you know, we just change as we get older. Okay, here we go. And if you admit the same thing in my comments below, I will high five you. So, you know, there are bigger things to worry about in the world right now than farther versus further. Unless that's your job. If you have like a journalism job or a writing job, I'm not trying to insult you. I applaud you. Okay, so there's that part. So that's, I think, good enough for this purple feather. The last part about this feather is the middle stem. So we're going to take the dark umber from before, and we're just going to color that part in right there. Easy peasy, right? Okay, so that's all there is to the purple feathers. Next, we will move on to the green leaves. I will be right back. And now for combo number 4, which is the green combo on the leaves. We're going to use white, sap green light, Kelly green, and Prussian green, which I have here. So again, same thing, light to dark, but we're going to actually apply the white at the end. So we'll start out with our sap green light, which is really pretty. I love this muted color, especially when it makes me think of pine leaves and things like that, like winter time, green foliage, evergreen things. So we'll take this sap green light and we'll just make like a little outline here. Yep, that's probably good enough. Then we'll take the Kelly green and we're going to start coming in and bringing this color down a little closer to the center. And I'll clean up that sap green line a little bit. Right now I'm just trying to block in some color here. All right. The other thing too, since I'm turned at an angle, I'm coloring this way, but the lines go this way. So I usually try to color in the same directions as the lines on the page, but I'm not always perfect at that. So here, this is the Prussian green, by the way. And we're just going to come right in here. Maybe add a little bit around that petal. And again, I'm trying to really establish, and don't worry about going over this line because we're going to go over that with the dark umber in just a little bit. Just trying to really establish a solid dark green center on this leaf here. I'm sorry, my voice sounds a little froggy this morning. I apologize, you guys. It is almost 6 a.m. here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area as I record this. Okay. In the comments below, let me know what part of the world you're watching from. I love to see that. It's so fun to see where everybody's from, and I can sometimes tell from the way people spell things that you're not from these parts. So I think it's fun. I love getting to know people I just love, you know, the miracle of social media just really connects people. It does create connections around the world. That's really cool. Okay, so now we're going back to the Kelly green and just smearing that all together. Smearing is a highly technical term for blending. Makes me feel like an 8-year-old. Just smear it. Okay. So just really trying to blend it. And again, I'm fighting with the white spots on this page from this paper. Now I will finish off with the sap green light here. My pencils have felt a little scratchy on this page, which for my Prismas is kind of interesting because I usually don't get a scratchy, like when I use my Castle Arts, they feel scratchy. When I use my Black Widows, they can feel scratchy, but my Prismas never feel scratchy, but they, for some reason, have on this paper. So I'm just going with it. By the way, if you go to my Ko-fi account and you download, again, y'all, it's 100% free. I have a pencil conversion chart with 6 other pencil brands for these same color combos for you. So please help yourself. Don't feel like you're being greedy. Just download it. $0, all yours. No strings attached, I promise. Okay. Now the last thing we'll do is use the white. And the white is going to kind of lighten it just a little bit along these edges here. And I'm so I'm pressing down really hard and then lighter as I come into the inside of the petal. Petal, leaf, you know what I mean. Okay, so next we're going to take the Prussian green and we're going to go around the outlined edge here. So I can just speed this up for y'all. And there you go. All right, now that that part is done, we're going to take dark sepia and color in the center of the leaf. So there, now we've colored all the green leaves together. Now the last thing we have to color, there's 2 things. Since we're sitting right here, let's go ahead and color this little birdie. And because it's Christmas time, it's gotta be a red cardinal, right? So let's take, I'm using Scarlet Lake, which is the lightest red here. I'm probably gonna botch this. I know that cardinals don't have yellow faces, but there you go. We're gonna give them a yellow face. And then Tuscan red on the body. Uh-oh, and we just colored outside of the lines. That does look like a 3rd grader colored that. All right. Okay. I think I'm going to change to a brown. Good enough for now. I'll come back with the Posca pen. Maybe we will, make this a little darker, crimson red. All right, I'm gonna stop fussing with them, okay, because it'll just be worse. All right, we'll come back and we'll do the final leaf on the page. All right, the last thing we have here is, I don't know what kind of foliage this is, but we're just using 2 colors. And I have it here I'm just calling it brown leaves. So it's just light umber and dark umber. So I guess technically that's color combo 5. Light umber on the outside. Sorry, I didn't sharpen that. Okay. And then, as you can guess, we're going to do dark umber on the inside of the leaf. So let me speed color this one for you. Okay, so that one's real easy peasy. I had already started coloring it when I realized, oops, that's the last one on the page, so I stopped, which is why I only had half there to color for you guys. All right, the last thing we're going to tackle now is the Distress ink background, so let me get those supplies and I'll be right back. Okay, as mentioned before, I had selected 3 sort of neutral brown colors for the background: old paper, pumice stone, and ground espresso. So let's get started. I will be completely transparent and vulnerable and tell y'all that I'm kind of nervous about this because I have no idea how this is going to turn out. So I'm going to take the old paper, which is the lighter color, and start doing these inside bits here. And I do have a video on how to apply Distress ink over an already colored background, but I'll leave a link for that if you'd like, but you can actually watch me do it live here. So because this color is so light, we're not really losing the actual pencil color. I wouldn't want to come in here, for instance, with the ground espresso, which is the dark brown. Who knows what that would look like. So I'm just dabbing my tool, this blending tool with the sponge on the ink pad, and I'm kind of pressing down and swiping to the right as I do that, just to get ink on there. And then here I'm just blotting it down and kind of gently, like little strokes there. I don't want to like really drag it too hard because you could potentially drag some of the pencil color with you. I'm just going to go over the little bird there. I'm very disappointed in my bird. I hope y'all's birds turn out much better. But I have trouble. That's so tiny. Tiny, tiny little birdie. So we're just going to keep doing this for a little bit. I'll speed this up. And then we'll start adding other colors. Next up, we have pumice stone, which is here. And I'll put links to all of these in my description below. Same thing. I'm going to grab this, and then I'm just going to kind of start swirling it on the page. Oops, I swear there's ink on that. It's coming off a little lighter than I thought it would. So I do have a white piece of paper behind here. Excuse me. In case I go off the page, it makes it easier to color that way if you've got that. Oops, see what I did? I just laid my ink pad upside down there. That's okay. Don't do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, I'm going to press a little harder on this ink pad to get more color from this pumice stone. I feel like I'm kind of fighting it this morning. Almost feels like it's drying up a little bit. I've got some spray I could put on here, but I'm just gonna probably move to the walnut stain. Yeah, let's do that. So the walnut stain is a darker brown. So, you know, I like to do my edges dark around the picture. So what we can do is we'll do the walnut stain, and then we will fill in with the old paper. Since the pumice stone is not behaving. Oops, doing this super fast. By the way, I know my book is spiral bound. I bought it on Amazon that way. There is, sometimes you see people that they buy these books and then they spiral bind them and resell them. And I love them. If I can get them spiral bound, I do. It's just so much easier to manage the page, and it's nicer. Now, sometimes you do lose part of the picture if it goes into the spine, but for the most part, I don't really have an issue with that. Okay. Yeah, this isn't looking too bad. I don't mind the brown. It's not my favorite. I would like to have done something like darker and more dramatic to have an opportunity to do something more magical with the background, but I'm not sure what that would be at this point. Again, I feel like I backed myself into a corner with the bright reds. Okay, back to the old paper to kind of fill in a lot of these gaps that I have here. And one thing too, I should have done this Christmas video probably a month ago. I apologize that I'm doing it really the weekend right before Christmas, but I hope you enjoy it just the same. Okay, gonna go back in with a little more walnut. I might try to put some in here. Let's see if we can do that and get away with it. Maybe darken that a little bit. Yeah, it actually works, not too bad. I'm just using the edge as I do that. Okay, I think I've got this mostly where I want it. One thing we're going to do today, I'm going to show you how to do water stains on your distress ink background. All right, I think that's good enough. Oops, let's get this spot here. Okay, I'm gonna go get a little squirt bottle and I will be right back. So here I have a distress sprayer, vaporizer, or whatever that, however you say that in French. It's from Ranger Ink. You can buy it on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the video. And I'm just going to barely press on this to get kind of like drops to sort of flop down. Let me see here. Okay, it's going to spray some drops. And then I let the drops sit for a little bit. Then I take a tissue and just kind of dab them up. And that's going to give you kind of, let me see if I can get some bigger, fatter drops. And it picks up the ink for sort of an interesting texture to your background. I'll let these sit a little bit longer. And as it dries, you'll see that it will dry lighter. And it gives it kind of a fun extra texture to your background. This works a lot better with like the dark blues, the purples. We'll try it with the browns here. All right, I think that's probably good enough. Okay, lastly, I'm going to go get some Posca pens and I will be right back. All right, I've got two sizes. I've got the 5M, I'm sorry, yeah, the 5M and the 3M. So a little fatter tip and a little lighter tip. So what I'm going to do, oh my goodness, excuse me. I'm going to start dotting dots of white on here as if snow has fallen and hit, you know, these leaves. I'm going to kind of do it where there's a lip on the leaf and it looks like it might have caught the snow a little bit. I can maybe even use the bigger one for bigger dabs of snow and use like little leaves. I'm sorry, little dots, not little leaves. And again, I'm kind of nervous because I could completely botch this whole thing right now, live as you're watching. This, you probably noticed a trend of that with me. It's like I'll have a vision in my mind and then it just kind of craps out. All right, maybe we have some snow along here. Let's call it on this petal here. Just trying to make it a little snowy, a little more Christmassy. And you can just add it anywhere. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to use like the laws of physics to make it perfect. But yeah, so you can see how pretty that is, just adding those little touches. So we'll keep, I'm going to speed color and do some more, and then we'll come back. Okay, what do y'all think? You can see that the little water spots are drawing lighter finally. They're okay. I'm not thrilled with them, but it was something new for you to learn. But I do like the snow, and I probably could have kept going, but I have to always stop myself because I know that I have a habit of overdoing my white Posca work sometimes. So I just stopped, but I hope you like the way that this turned out. It feels snowy and Christmassy and festive to me. So again, there's a cheat sheet on my coffee account that will have the cheat sheet, a picture of the finished page, and also the pencil conversions for you. And I think that's it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. If I don't talk to you, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. I hope you get a nice break from whatever it is you do, and you get to enjoy time with family and loved ones. So with that, thank you so much, and have a great day, and I'll see you next time.